And welcome to another edition of the Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we have a full house, a packed house, and we are joined by a senior journalist of Kaieteur News, Miss Kiana Wilberg, senior journalist Kim King, my colleague Michaela Prince, and the man of the hour, Mr. Glenn Lall. Of course, my name is Shakima Day, and I will be moderating this evening's program. And we have a very packed session, presentation for you guys. Mr. Lall's topic this evening is corruption. But before we get into that, a few housekeeping matters. This program is being live streamed on our Facebook page, Kaieteur Radio. You can send your questions and your comments there, or you can also text us on 6222 222. Whatever questions or comments you have, feel free to send that to us and we will try to answer those. So with that very short introduction, I'll hand the baton over to Mr. Lall to begin his presentation.
Thank you, Shakima. Tonight, Attorney at Law Christopher Ram has said he couldn't join us because of an emergency. He had to go out. So I told him it's okay, we can handle it. So I begin by telling you guys that I love to learn. I love to learn as much as I can about life in general. For many, many years, I have been watching all the international news outlets just to keep informed as to what is taking place in this world. I have used that knowledge to run this news outfit all these years, 26 years. I've told many people, if Donald Trump had gotten back a second term, God would have to save colored people. Joseph Biden, on his first day in office, reversed many of the bad things Trump did. I hope our new president can do the same in reversing many of the wrong things the previous government and his own party people did when they were in office with this wholesale corruption, scampishness, and skullduggery, including these oil contract deals. The people of this country should not continue to suffer. Let me repeat this. The people of this country should not continue to suffer with this massive wealth we have in this country, Guyana has in this country, that they own, me and all of you own. This morning, Al Jazeera, an Arabian news outfit, broke a news item which I would like all of you to listen, and listen very carefully before we get into tonight's topic: corruption, incompetence, and stupid people. Guys, so you can have a say. The telephone lines will be open tonight so that we can have a one-on-one connection and plain discussion as to what is taking place in this land. Guys, could you play that news outfit so that all Guyana can listen?
We begin this hour with breaking news from the Netherlands, where the Court of Appeals has ordered oil giant Shell to pay compensation to a group of Nigerian farmers. They accuse the
I guess, I guess you would have listened, and because of the language in which these Nigerians speak, it may be very difficult for you to capture exactly what has happened here. But we are here. I'm here sitting with my colleagues who would have. We are covering that story tomorrow in the newspaper, and we just want to explain to you in detail what transpired in Nigeria. And let me begin by telling you, it took this court in the Netherlands 8 years to hear this matter, in which Shell, one of the largest oil companies in this world, his subsidiaries, their partners in Nigeria, what they have done. And of course, you would have heard the court ordered them, Shell, the mother company, to clean and to also put in detectors in these pipelines to make sure that they detect oil spills, prevent and safeguard Nigeria's country. They talked about a reward. The government awarded a sum, but they didn't tell us how much. I'll be keeping track on that to let you know what was the sum awarded to these farmers. But I just wanted to tell you that just four farmers, without the help of Friends of the Earth, that's an international organization who saw what has taken place in Nigeria. They had to come on board and just find 4 people name to put and say, listen guys, what's happening here, you can't take that. We have to go to the court to get compensation. And this is how a court case was able to be filed in the Netherlands to handle this matter. Those people are so poor. They're so poor. It's like our people here in Guyana looking for $25,000 to help them buy food and milk for their baby. That's how poor we are. So we can't take no oil company to court. So an international body had to come on board and say, guys, come, let's go to court. And this is how they were awarded a compensation. And there are so many things we can talk about that same story, what transpired there, and what is to happen right here. We are to face exactly, if not worse than that, if we don't safeguard and protect ourselves. Of course, our leaders play a role, and they have to come on board. And if they don't come on board, Guyanese, brothers and sisters, we have to take that stance. And I am here to tell you that I am with you. So let's have it open so you can hear some of my colleagues who are just as au fait as I am in this oil sector and the contracts to which we sign on to. You hear it very clear. The people talk about 1950. 1950. This is 1921. We are talking about 71 years now. The pipelines, the same pipelines they're using there, that has caused the leakage, that has caused the damages to so many people in Nigeria. So, guys, let me hear you.
You want to start, Lall? Okay. Good night, everybody. So I'm finally joining my publisher after some time from the show. We're very busy here at Kaieteur News trying to do as much research as we can to bring different angles from across the world, lessons from countries. And I think this story that we're talking about here today is so critical because we don't even realize that we are already in this situation.
Perfect.
And the reason why I say we're already in this situation is because
just about a few hours ago, Exxon Mobil sent out an update saying that its gas compressor system for the Liza Destiny, that's the name of the oil ship that's out there, and the Liza Phase 1 pumping the oil so that they can sell it, that gas compressor system is now malfunctioning again. Now, that clearly says that what you did before was slapdash work.
And they want to flare.
Now, who is going to pay for the first correction that they did to the gas compressor system? That's Guyana.
Perfect.
Who's going to have to pay for it again?
Guyana. That's
Who's
right.
going to suffer because of the toxic chemicals that they're releasing right now? Guyana. It's sad that hours after ExxonMobil has told us that, oh, well, the gas compressor system break down again, we can go continue burning more toxic chemicals and have it being released into the Guyana atmosphere, not a word. We have heard nothing from the Environmental Protection Agency. We've heard nothing from Vikram Bharat, who's appointed to serve as the Minister of Natural Resources. We've heard nothing from Bharat Jagdeo, the champion of the earth.
That's right.
And the person who's appointed Vice President with responsibility for the oil and gas sector. We've
Beautiful.
heard nothing from these people. If this is where we're starting, where do you think we are going to be in another 2, 3, 4 years with this sort of lawlessness that we are seeing from ExxonMobil? We just got a casual statement. Okay, guys, system breakdown again. We got to flare a little bit more. It's just temporary. And it's like, okay, continue to pollute us, poison the atmosphere. It's okay. Meanwhile, our politicians are so consumed, and it's like so unnerving. They want to argue so passionately about the marijuana bill.
Correct.
And about smoking little weed and how much weed a person should be allowed to smoke. I mean, I want to know if we're just walking around.
It's sickening.
Drinking every day, we just drinking bottles of ignorance and delusions, and we just walking around like sailors while our wealth is being exploited. It's really an unnerving situation, a sickening, damning, frightening, dangerous. I don't have words
To describe.
to describe the situation that we're in. But so that's just going to be my contribution for now. It's very clear. We are no longer talking about getting to where these countries are now. We are there. From the time ExxonMobil, furthermore, ExxonMobil should not even be in a position to tell Guyana, oh, well, we system breakdown, we flaring again. What we should have seen is a statement from the EPA saying that it received a report, it confirmed that the gas compressor system broke down once again, and because of this recklessness, this endangerment of the lives of Guyanese, ExxonMobil will be fined XYZ. Production will be paused until we can get this matter fixed once and for all.
Beautifully said.
That is what we should have seen.
Beautifully said. Can I add a piece to that?
Yes, Mr. Lall.
You know, you talk about they telling us that this gas compressor is down. I don't think that the gas compressors are down. They have nowhere to re-inject the gas. They want Guyana to take that. You understand what I'm saying? If not, they have to burn it. When they burn it, they pollute the air. When they pollute the air, there is a cost for pollution to which they have to pay. Okay? And it's cheaper to pollute the air because they cannot re-inject it. Re-inject it will be more detrimental to them because they can only, and you see, these are things people need to understand. You can only re-inject so much of gas when you're bringing up oil. The rest has to be taken out or taken away or burned. So people need to understand that. You have to burn that. Get rid of it. Now, the idiot, Guyana, is not ready to take it yet. Right? The garbage that has no value, the gas to show project what they want to bring here. They don't have value for it. So they have to burn it. They're waiting to catch this pacu. You know, we are set up pacus to which, set up quick. Set up quick so they could dump that garbage on you. Because right now, if they burn it, they have to pay. There's a cost for polluting the earth to which Exxon has to pay. It's costing them money. So I just wanted to make that point clear.
Thank you.
What you
Yeah,
said.
that's really a relevant point there, Mr. Lall.
Yeah.
And I know that my colleagues who are covering this matter, I mean, I know that they would agree that this is something that's really unnerving. And the fact that you hear a country has suffered, an African nation, one of many that suffered at the hands of an oil company, their recklessness in the way in which they treat with the environment. Look how long they had to wait for justice.
Yes, and I want to let me go back to that same audio that you listened to, that news item that happened in Nigeria, the court ruling in the Netherlands today. If you listen to it carefully, you will hear that the court ruled that the mother company, which is Shell, one of the largest oil company on earth, Shell is only ordered to fix the pipelines and to connect a detector to avoid it happening again. That's what they were ordered for. The compensation, they didn't tell us, but the compensation is coming from the subsidiaries of Shell. Why I say subsidiaries of Shell? Guys, you need to understand. The subsidiaries of Shell is not Shell. They are the children of Shell that doesn't own anything. They are the partners of Shell, this huge, gigantic oil company in the world, excuse me, that doesn't own anything. So it is yet to be seen. This is why I said I want to know what compensation the court will award, and if the subsidiaries of Shell will be able to face the bill or pay the bill or pay these Nigerians. You understand? So, because this is how oil companies behave, this is how they operate. I've said something similar to my last program, in which if you don't get the parent company to sign to take the responsibility, then your country is doomed. And Guyana right now is faced with that, my brothers and sisters. Listen to me carefully. Let me repeat what I've said. I have said that we don't have any insurance signed by the parent companies of Hess, CNOOC, and Exxon to take responsibility of any disaster happen to this country and that of our neighboring countries. And our leaders, like, they don't damn care about what happens. So you need to understand that. Anything happens, don't depend on these players here. These are the subsidiaries of them. These are the children of them that they sign on, and they don't own anything. So if we are to take them to court, you have nothing to get.
That's right.
And I'm repeating this. We have nothing to get. And I'll be looking at this Nigerian order, which a court will make, as to who will be paid and how, and if these people will ever be paid. Because if you're dealing with subsidiaries are people who act as a third party player for the real owners, with Hess, Exxon and CNOOC. They are the small players. It's like, let me put it a little more simple so you understand. I hire 3 people out there and I say, guys, you guys go and run Kaieteur News. Sign everything what's going on there. And if anything happen, you are responsible. Now, if I hire 3 security guard and I tell them to sign on that you are representing Guyana, but you don't own Kaieteur News, I own Kaieteur News, then you have to sue the security guards. And what are you going to get from them? They don't even own their own shirt and pants and the boots they wear. So what are you going to get? You have to get Glenn Lall to sign on to that, because I own Kaieteur News. Well, this is what has been happening with this country on to now. We have Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Lisa 3, which is Payara. And we don't have insurance at all whatsoever. We have the security guards that sign the insurance protecting all of us. You guys understand what I'm saying? I am very clear in what I'm saying. And those permits were only granted to them with the understanding and agreement that the parent companies sign taking on the responsibility in case them can't pay, and the little fine insurance they give me, so the Glenn Lall can pay or them can pay. We have not gotten that on to this day. Although this thing can take only 5 minutes. It has been 2 years now, and Guyana has not got that yet. But guess what, Guyana? We are heading into a fourth project, and we are still not protected by Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Lisa 3. So you guys have to really understand what's happening in this land. We are in great danger. You might make baby. Our brothers, our ladies will make baby without even getting pregnant in this land. Let's continue.
Well, Mr. Lall, you really have me just thinking. I sometimes I really don't want to come on this program because you just get so worked up. You're already worked up by what you're writing, but even to think about it. And I just want to add something to what I said earlier. I really need to apologize because I think that I am wrong to just blame the government. It's not the government alone. It's the political opposition too. Thank you. They're no longer sleeping at the wheel. I'm convinced that they're in a coma now. Because I don't understand for the life of me how you are calling yourself the political opposition, how you represent such a significant portion of the voting class, yet something like this has been revealed by Exxon Mobil, and there is no statement from the opposition. What we see is the government and opposition fighting over who take money for get bangles and who buy mattress and take money from this. I mean, I understand that those issues are also important. I'm not saying that they don't need attention. They do. But channel the same attention to the sector that could cripple this country. We're just Nigeria. There are millions of people that are in extreme poverty. We are at a greater risk of heading in that direction, of falling into the same category, because the wealth is also of a greater extent. I really think we are trying to do our part here at Kaieteur News, but to everyone who's listening to us, if you are not standing up for your country and holding your leaders accountable, if you are silent, then sadly, I'm sorry to say, you're also going to be part of the problem. You need to voice your matters, your concerns on these issues. You can write to Kaieteur News. You can use Kaieteur News as a platform. Call in, make your opinions known, your concerns heard. You can make use of the letter pages, and you can call us and have discussions with us. It's time that we let these leaders know that they're going to be held to a higher standard. Their feet will be held to the fire. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to give my colleagues a chance to talk now.
And on the issue of pollution that you talked about, Kiana, we can't talk about the flaring without talking about the produced water. So it's really a two-pronged issue that we're facing right now. Correct. That while they're flaring, they're also dumping 100,000 barrels of produced water into the ocean. And If you're listening and you think it's bad now, think about what happens when when they're ready to force the gas to shore project on us. When that infrastructure is onshore, when it's right in your face. You think the dumping of the produced water and the burning of gas is bad when you can't see it now. You're going to see what's happening when Exxon Mobil, the company that flaunts itself as the steward of safety, could not get the equipment for its very first oil development on Guyana right, sees its equipment go bad on the gas to shore project, and then we'll realize how close the environmental damage is to us. And maybe then we're going to get some of the members of the public who are sleeping right now to realize how much this affects their lives.
You know, Kimal, you mentioned that, and something I just remembered an important issue that we would have discussed here with the former head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Vincent Adams. Exxon Mobil has the ability to build the oil ships that they're putting out there to store, to re-inject any sort of waste matter that would be harmful to the environment. And because one of the pieces of equipment that was needed to re-inject the produced water, that it was going to cost about 300 million US.
Right.
They said no, they protested against it because they don't think that you're worth it. That's too much. That's how they think of you. You're not worth protecting. It's all about exploiting as much as they can, getting value for their shareholders. That's all they talk about. Every single time Hess Corporation or Exxon Mobil, anytime they hold an earnings call, Guyana is our growth engine. And it is sure to bring our shareholders much, much value in the years to come. That's all you hear. They only talk about money. That's the bottom line. If they care about their shareholders, you need to care about yourselves.
That's right.
We're trying to lead the fight and enlighten you here. Mr. Lall, he really needs to be congratulated for an excellent initiative, because oil and gas is really, as you've said time and time again, a gigantic field. And he is bringing this practical layman explanation to you guys. And I really hope that, every one of you who's listening to us, wherever you are, you continue to partake and improve your participation in this discussion, because it's not a fight that we can carry alone.
Yes, I do agree with you, Kiana. But all what we have said here, I just want you guys to know that it can be corrected. All these things can be corrected. It's just that we are not seeing or hearing anything from our leaders. What Kiana have said, what have been said as to what's going on in Nigeria, it can be prevented and corrected. But we are not hearing nothing, not a single word from these people. Like, all you're hearing is who thief this land and who thief that land, and what is for me and what is for him and what is there for us. And this is what you're hearing in this land. We have to come off this. We have tremendous wealth here to make us all happy and comfortable, guys. We have to demand from our leaders. We have to wake them up. Unless you stand up with us, unless you get on board with us to say, guys, no way. The leaders of this land should not be encouraged or allowed to continue in this manner. If an Ali have said not a word onto this day's president on oil, not a single word. You believe that oil is a scarce commodity? It never existed. When you hear Hess, Sinop, and Exxon, can boast in the world, they are boasting to their shareholders how much money, how much wealth we have uncovered, and how much they will be making to share among their shareholders. We have been carrying these stories. And guess what? We are not hearing nothing from these idiots and morons we have for leaders. All they're telling you, guess what they're telling you? They're going to take a loan or begging for alms to give Guyana $25,000. Give each household $25,000. A piece of, I don't want to use the word, $25,000 a household they will give you. When, if they only put their minds and their hearts to where and what belongs to us, you can get $25,000 an hour. I plan to talk Monday coming, and you need to listen, on renegotiation. I will talk about renegotiation, and you need to listen to me, join me. But let me get back to you. You need to understand, brothers and sisters, we have tremendous wealth. We got wealth that can put every single Guyanese down to our babies. We can able to give them a house and land with a roof over their head right now as I speak, without no oil come up there. But guess what? Our leaders is following the footsteps of all those African countries and Asian countries that is being suffered, and have the people being suffered, and they are living like kings and queens. Guys, you want that for us? No, don't do that. It is too early. It is too early. I told a friend today, he called me and said, Glenn, you big up David Granger. I said, yes. I would go to my grave, and listen to me carefully, I will go to my grave with David Granger on my mind, and I'll be thankful to him for one thing he did to this land. He was able to make those oil contracts, listen to me carefully, those oil contracts let in the open, so that all of us, all Guyana, can see what the leaders sign on to. This is what, and this is why I am sitting here. This is why we are all talking about this. This is why newspapers and the world get to see what we have. Hadn't been for him as a president, we would have never known. Like so many countries in the world, Trinidad learned about their oil contracts 70 years after. That's how Trinidad is being led to correct some of the wrongs they have seen, some of the mistakes they have made, some of the loopholes they have in the system, and that is what they are correcting right now as I speak. After 70 years, all these African countries and all these Asian countries, their oil contracts is not even seen by the people of their countries after 100 years. This is why I'm so thankful and pleased and happy with David Granger. Mr., I'll give him Mr. for that, for releasing that oil contract, so that we can be able to see what's taking place. If not, we never know. We would have never known that gas compressor broke down, and how much we have to pay for this, and what we get in Lisa 1, and what we get in Lisa 2, and what we are getting here, and what we are getting there. If not, we'll never know. We would have never know. On to this day, what is going on with the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks haven't been for Mr. Granger releasing that contract. I'll be speaking on that contract. And if you think the Exxon Mobil contract bad, wait and listen to me. I'm coming. It is so much, it is overwhelming on me alone and my staff to handle this thing. But it's coming, and you need to listen and understand how you're being raped with your clothes on in this land with our leaders. Yes, let's go on.
Mr. Lall, I want to talk a little more about what you said about this bad contract and how it has us in a position where we're getting little frecks while the oil companies are taking away the bulk of the earnings. So Hess said during its earnings call just a few days ago that they expect Guyana to be their cash engine. Guyana is going to be their growth engine. Mm-hmm. They expect Guyana's production to grow them, and then they said with what they're making from Guyana, they're going to bring down their debt significantly,
Yes.
and then they're going to bring great returns to their shareholders. Meanwhile, Guyana made $185 million from oil in 2020. And because of Exxon's plans to do certain infrastructural work at the Liza Destiny, we're going to have low production in 2021 too. And that means also a smaller amount of lifts for Guyana. So don't expect the 185 to raise or significantly raise in 2021. You're going to be taking home a very small share for the near future. And I could compare that to our other natural resources sectors. Gold made about 5 or 6 times more than we made from oil in 2020. Oil that's supposed to bring us into prosperity.
Beautiful.
So that's the position you're in.
Yes, yes. Let me add a little piece to what you said here. Hess is telling their shareholders, hey, we are heading upwards. Yes, you'll be getting big money. And guess what? Guyana is heading downwards. They're bringing us down because you know why? We just today we carried a story, one of you write it, in which the finance minister is pushing to raise our debt ceiling. So we are going to borrow to pay interest to indebt ourselves and our future generations, while these oil companies talking about, hey, we are getting there, we are going to make big profits. You understand? And this is what's happening. And this is our leaders, guys. We have a set of morons for leaders. This is how they think. They never went to school. I always think that I didn't went to school, but the more I grow into this industry, I am beginning to understand that they have never been to school. So market vendors will make better decisions than these people. But I will tell you, as much as they are dumb, they know well and they know good what is to collect. What is to collect? That's all I can say. What is to collect? You understand what I'm saying. They may not know about business, which I am convinced that they don't understand business. But they know how and what to collect. That's all I'm going to say. They're stupid. I know that for sure. And I want to challenge any one of them in the PPP, the PNC, well, the AFC, I don't even want to talk about them. But I want them to come and sit with us and let's have this kind of frank discussion as to where they are taking us and what these oil players are doing to us and what they are saying about it. Nothing. I want them to come. The invitation is open. Listen to me carefully, Guyana. Please call your leaders and tell them Lall would like to have them one by one or 10 of them together. The radio station is open. It's big enough to handle 10 people.
Virtually for now. Yes. Because of COVID.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kiana. Thank you. I love you for that. Listen, they don't have to come. We can do it by telephone.
Yes.
So you let them sit in a home and say, listen, man, let's have a discussion with Lall on the radio station. And that, I don't think that should be a hard thing for you guys. Tell them, say, listen, no. You have listened to what Mr. Lall and his team have been saying on the radio station for quite some time now. Please, why you guys don't call in or join him? He's inviting you. He's begging all of you to come. Join us. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kimal. Go ahead.
Hope that they come on, Mr. Lall. I really am getting a hunch that a lot of them, they do not want to come and sit in front of you and to answer your questions.
Call us on the phone.
Mm-hmm. No, you know what I mean. A lot of them have such a record that I do not think that they would have the gall to sit and field questions from you.
Look, we've been waiting on the opposition leader for an oil and gas press conference for so long, for months, and he's been hiding and ducking questions, and we have heard nothing from him.
When was it that he said he would have had us?
Last year, September. And we've been asking him at every press conference, when are you going to have this special oil and gas press conference with the media to say what is going to happen, what is your plan, what are you going to look at for Guyana's oil sector? And he's not saying anything. So I do not think while Mr. Lall wants these leaders to come and say something about the oil and gas sector, I don't think that they care. They don't care. They're operating as if they don't care.
It's not that they don't care, Shakima. It's not that they don't care. They know what they would have done. They know what they would have done. We would have carried many, many stories over the last 5 years since we discovered oil. And we would have shown how many leaders in those countries would have corrupted themselves with a few pennies and sell out the country. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And we were carrying those stories just not to let our leaders find themselves in that position. And Shakima, their silence, not speaking a word, not saying anything about oil, the most important thing in this hemisphere and the world, speaks so much as to what they would have done or the compromising position they would have found themselves in. That's why we are seeing or hearing no word. So I am pleading on this nation, guys, you got to wake up. You got to start speak up. We have to carry this fight by ourselves. If we don't fight for what belongs to us, you will be waiting every 5 years for a $25,000, and you will be fighting for it. And I mean 25,000 Guyana dollar. Come on, something that you deserve to get right now every hour. So we got to get up and fight. We got to stand up. We got to speak up. We got to speak out. We have to get out there.
Right? We, the people, have the power. And with that, I'd just like to remind you guys that you can send us your questions and your comments. You can send your comments on our Facebook Live. You can, whatever questions you have, or you can also send us a text on 622-222. We want to hear from you as it relates to our topic this evening or anything you would like to know about Guyana's oil and gas sector. At this point, we will take a very quick commercial break and we will be right back. Do stay tuned.
I'll be right back.
There are very few poor countries in this world. Only the people are poor. When people didn't have enough to eat, when people were driven to the edge of desperation, there's billions to be made there, to be carved out and to be taken. The capitalist European and North American powers have carved out and taken the timber, the bauxite. They have taken out of these countries. These countries are not underdeveloped. They're overexploited. They're overexploited. They're overexploited.
All right, welcome back to the Glenn Lall Show on Kaieteur Radio, and thank you so much for staying tuned. I hope you guys have enjoyed our discussions thus far, and we will jump straight into our question and answer segment. And we have a very special guest in here who would like to shoot his questions first. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Good night, Glenn. Well, John Hess has been representing his shareholders very well. Who is representing Guyana's shareholders? But we, the people, as the owner of this wealth, of all this great oil wealth as we've been blessed with, who is representing the Guyanese shareholders?
Well, that's such a beautiful question. I believe it's only God Almighty have to protect us, because it's not only Hess, Sinnock, and Exxon and the rest of the players who are representing their shareholders. Our government, our opposition, and our leaders are not saying a word. So we have to pray that God Almighty protect and defend us and support us, fight for us. That's the only other alternative I am seeing here now. Because everybody is proud every oil players is proud to talk about their interests and their income. And nobody's saying anything about us. But what I'm hearing is debts. We're taking loans. We are going for loans and more loans. And it's like we're begging for alms. That's what's going on in this land. Every single leader in this land is silent. And it's mind-boggling, And this is why I'm thinking about having this program every night. Every night. I could talk 10 hours a night on it. It is so much to talk about that these morons don't want us to know. Don't want you guys to know. It's a good thing God has blessed us, this team here, and Kaieteur family, with the wisdom to understand and to pursue and to see what's playing out in this land. I am very happy about that. Many countries have suffered, like I said, for 50, 60, 70 years. And what we are doing here now, if had countries done that in the beginning, they would have been such a rich and beautiful world. The exploitation and the robbery and skullduggery that went on would have never happened. And this is why I'm thinking about coming on here every night, so that we can prevent what happened in all those countries from happening here. We have to. We got to take a stance. Many people have been telling me, Glenn, you got to be careful, buddy. You're I said, no, I'm not endangering my life. I am being guided and I am being blessed by the man above. So let's go.
Next question. Kiana, you want to respond?
Yeah, I have a question here, Mr. Lall. Do you know of any country that was able to correct their poor oil contract so that both the people and the operators could benefit?
Well, offhand, I may not.
Yes, you do.
I could tell you. I could tell you.
Come on.
I can tell you Trinidad.
There you go.
Trinidad, our neighboring country.
Yes.
After 70, 80 years, oil finish, they're fighting with their gas. They would have found loopholes to which they have just corrected. Just corrected, I think this year or last year. No, last year. They have just corrected, in which they are being which they're raked in billions. Now, we shouldn't reach that stage. We have to start now, this moment, this minute, right? And they have been Ghana also found out how they're losing billions.
Yes.
So they're cracking down on all these things. But it takes years. Like I said, this industry does not take a minute. I'm talking to a Trinidadian guy right now, and this guy wants to cry every moment for Guyana when he sees what is happening to this country with our oil. He's such a smart individual. The guy has been guiding me in so many things. I just want to know. I call him and say, "Hey, what's happening?" He said, "Oh God, I feel like I've shouted so loud out and cry for you people." He said, "Guys, don't make these mistakes. and I'm so thankful that he's here and he has been guiding me with a few things that I don't know. Right? So there are many countries, but the countries who would have suffered, let's drop them. Right? They suffered. Now they're catching themselves and finding out, understanding what went wrong and how to correct it, and they're still pinching in a little to their country, right? But we already lose. We already lose big time on Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Lisa 3. Lisa 1, Lisa 2, and Lisa 3 is 3 burial ground. I compare it to. I compare it to a quarter of the Essequians, quarter of the Demerarans, and a quarter of Barbicians already set to be buried in those 3. Come on, leaders. Don't allow 4 to come on us, because it will bury all Guyana. And the rest, if you allow them, the 10 that Exxon is talking about, will bury even the flies and the worms and the ants, the roaches, the rats in Guyana. That's where we are heading, into a graveyard. I only hope. And I want to expound on all these things. I want people to ask the questions so I can bring it out, so you guys understand where we are and where we're heading.
That's an excellent response there, Mr. Lall.
Thank you.
But I just want to, this is not a last question, but there's someone who made a comment here. I would have seen it in various forms, and I want to respond to it. There's a viewer here on the Facebook Live asking who or what classifies Glenn Lall, the Messiah of Guyana. The reason why I want to take this on is because I would have seen comments, I would have heard people saying, "Oh, man, who do you think he is? You think he's what, the Isle God? Why he on the radio talking?" Well, let me just put something very, very, very simple to anyone who has a question like that. If it was not intended for any of us, particularly Mr. Lall, to lead this fight, then it would not have happened. The only person who's more powerful than any other being on this earth that made it that way, that intended for it to be that way, is God.
Beautiful.
He is the person who intended this conversation to happen. So the next time you ask yourself, well, why? Well, why he think he there on the radio asking this and asking that? My advice to you is put it to God in prayer.
Thank you. Thank you. I just
Now,
want
I'll end on that note.
Thank you. You answered. Thank you for answering that way.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell that gentleman that tonight before I came here, I made a 12 minutes presentation to address you people. And I lost it. So I came on here without any presentation. And one of my friends, when I told him I lost it, he said, "Oh, God." He said, "Glenn, God wanted it to be that way."
That's
and
right.
I said, "Give me a high five." And that's what I believe in. Every word that preceded our mouth, every thought that we have in us, I believe is being guided and being inspired by the man above.
That's right.
I believe, and I tell my staff this umpteen years.
Yep.
Adam Harris has worked with me for 25 years, and he can attest to this. It's all the time I say this. We are here on this earth carrying out that man's purpose,
That's right.
the big man's purpose. And everything you heard from us here, I believe does not come out from our mouths without his guidance, protection, and deliverance. So I just want you guys to understand that. I am being guided and directed by him. By him. Every thought, every action, every word. With that, I know you're going to ask me to say what I have to say to the end. And I would gladly tell you that last night I asked my granddaughter, 7 years old, to say our prayers. And she said, Father God, please bless my family, the helpers, my friends, my teachers, my neighbors. And she went on to say, and I said, please tell God to help our leaders. And she said, okay, Papa. God, please help our leaders. With that, I say, God bless you, Guyana, and I love you all. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.